Which brings us to the other side, the other camp in Republicans, who, in an effort to own the libs, which seems to be their only function, they are pushing back against every measure imaginable to beat back the virus. Whether that be mask mandates, whether that be vaccines, whether that be social distancing, whether that be shutdowns, whatever effect they had on the economy, at every step, they push back. Enter Josh Feuerstein, another one of these evangelical nutterbutters who screams and yells and freaks out on stage to their audience, their congregation. Listen, again, get a little personal since most people don't know who I am. I grew up a conservative Republican. I was indoctrinated in an evangelical congregation for all of my childhood. I revered characters like Josh Feuerstein, like Greg Locke, who David talked about a few days ago. These are dangerous charlatans. Watch this clip from Josh Feuerstein, and then we're going to talk about it.
Listen to me. I understand, and let me speak now to the cameras around the world, to every pastor that's watching this broadcast, to every Christian that has cowered in your home. I realize that for this last year that maybe you've been fed fear and fear and fear, but the Bible says that God has not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and a sound mind. You have a sound mind. You don't have to wear the mask. You got Jesus. You don't need the vaccine. You got Jesus.
So I guess we're to believe that Josh Feuerstein, who, much like me, could use a few sit-ups in his life, that he's not vaccinated for anything. Apparently he doesn't have the measles, mumps, rubella vaccine. He's probably not been vaccinated for polio, right? It's only this vaccine that's the problem, because it's the culture war du jour for conservatives and grifters just like him, who ostensibly has a charge to protect his flock. He is doing a disservice, not just to the people in that audience who look up to him and admire him. He is doing a disservice to the country at large as he appears on Real America's Voice. Like they're part of real America, and those of us who disagree are not in real America. This is all part and parcel, pattern and practice with what is taking place right now in the headlines. Farron talked about over the last couple days, a couple of guys. Dick Farrell, the Newsmax and Florida radio host, who said not to get vaccinated, who called COVID a hoax, who's now dead from COVID. H. Scott Apley, a Republican leader in the Republican Party in Texas, advertised a mask-burning party and said, boy, I wish I could live where you guys are. I'd love to be a part of that. He died on Wednesday. In an effort to own the libs, to prove their points, they're acting as they always do about most issues of import. And that is, until it passes beyond their nose, like a conservative who is all against gay rights until they have a gay kid. The same thing is happening, because the two gentlemen that I just talked about, that have been talked about more in length by Farron the last few days, their families are admonishing everyone, please get the vaccine. COVID is real. COVID is a killer. And the problem that we face right now is not just from local city councilmen in Texas or Newsmax radio hosts. It's with prominent governors in the Republican Party like Ron DeSantis right now, who just today announced he's threatening to cut the pay, suspend the pay of school districts, of teachers, educators, superintendents, if they enforce a mask mandate protecting children. This headline from CBS 4 Miami. Governor Ron DeSantis' office, State Education Board could withhold salaries of superintendents, school board members who implement mask mandates. Here's the word from Ron DeSantis. Someone who is not protecting children. As we see COVID rates rise among children, hospitalization rise among children, Ron DeSantis is making it a policy objective to not protect the least among us, the most vulnerable among us. His statement: with respect to enforcing any financial consequences for noncompliance of state law regarding these rules and ultimately the rights of parents to make decisions about their children's education and healthcare decisions, it would be the goal of the State Board of Education to narrowly tailor any financial consequences to the offense committed. For example, the State Board of Education could move to withhold the salary of the district superintendent or school board members as a narrowly tailored means to address the decision makers who led to the violation of the law. Who led to the violation of the law, but also led to the protection of children. He continues, education funding is intended to benefit students first and foremost. Ron DeSantis said it with his own mouth here, by his own pen or someone in his office, that education funding is intended to benefit students first and foremost. And that doesn't just mean benefiting them and their actual education, but keeping them safe in the place where they are educated. Just recently on Meet the Press with Chuck Todd, the president of the second largest teachers union decided they're going to reverse course and they're going to support a COVID vaccine mandate because of that very thing, protecting children. Randy Weingarten, the president of the American Federation of Teachers, on with Meet the Press. Watch this.
But I do think that the circumstances have changed and that vaccination is a community responsibility, and it weighs really heavily on me that kids under 12 can't get vaccinated. And so I very rarely, separate my personal views from, where I am as a leader of the union, but I have really watched, particularly in Florida and Missouri. I was in St. Louis yesterday. Right. I was in Florida on Saturday. And you just see this, and we have to counter. Look, you said it earlier. We have to counter the misinformation. We have to this is a public health crisis, and the politics are infecting it. But I felt the need, as to bring people together and to stand up and say this as a matter of personal conscience.
Pointedly stated. Circumstances have changed, and this is it weighs really heavily on me that kids under 12 can't get vaccinated. It should weigh heavily on every single person in America, educator or not, pastor or not, politician or not, stupid commentator or not. People are dying. Our neighbors are dying. In our lifetime, unless you're 100 years old, we've not seen something rip through our society like this. Which team are you going to be on? The team that cares or the team that colludes against the team that cares?
One of our sponsors is Privacy.com. They're giving you $5 when you sign up for their completely free service at Privacy.com/Pacman. I've been using Privacy for a little over a year now. You've heard me talk about it before. It's a lifesaver, and here's how it works. It takes just a couple of minutes to set up. Anytime you buy something online or on the phone, instead of actually using your real credit card number, the Privacy app and the browser plugin let you give each company a randomized virtual credit card number that you create out of thin air. It'll even autofill the card number with one click. And the payment is taken out of your checking account without the merchant ever knowing your real information. So this allows you to keep your banking information secure, but also to take control of your finances. You can create up to 12 of these virtual credit cards a month. You can set spending limits. You can freeze them. You can delete them anytime you want. So when you do this, it means you're not going to be charged when you don't want to be, because you can destroy the virtual card number right after using it, which, for instance, I love using free trials because I know I won't be charged when the trial is over if I use a virtual credit card number. You're keeping your identity private by not telling companies who you are. You're keeping your bank or credit card info protected against data breaches and identity theft, and it's free. And like I said, you'll get $5 to spend when you sign up at privacy.com/Pacman.